Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I wanted it to hit, you know. Good afternoon. Everybody having a good time? All right. These conferences I love to be at, right? Because it's about making meaningful connections. So I just want to ask, with a show of hands, how many of you have met someone new in the last 24, 48 hours? Okay, keep your hands up. How many of you have also learned something brand new that you're going to take back with you? You're going to inspire your team, or it's going to cause you to dust something off, a strategy. So, okay, where's Ashley? Ashley, are you seeing this? There we are. Look at everybody's hands raised. That is what we call OG ROI, you know? So, original gangster ROI. Yeah, I'm really excited about today. As Will said last night, this is going to be an awesome panel. We've got some big hitters here. As we were just discussing, a lot of these same challenges that they have internationally is the same challenges that we have domestically. We're definitely going to be opening up conversations around overtourism, regenerative tourism, sustainability, just basically everything that's top of mind for all of us. But I also want to remind all of us that, you know, as much as we work hard to craft the best, visitor experience, we are also visitors ourselves. And how many of you have been on a personal trip where you've learned something about that market and you thought, I'm going to take this back, right? Quite a few, right? And that's because we are also those visitors. And so I'm excited today to bring up the panel. We're going to be talking with Visit Britain. The other one's called Falcha, Ireland. It took me a while to learn that. And then Atu, France. But for the rest of the panel, I'm going to refer to them as Britain, France, and Ireland. So with that, please welcome them to the stage. Perfect. And while their names are up above, if you guys don't mind, maybe we start from you, Tiana. Introduce yourself, what your title is, how long you've been maybe with the organization, and then ultimately, if we can think about just sort of setting the stage, transferring the energy, just some trend or something that you're interested in, a positive shift in the next 5 years that you would like to see from the travel and tourism side.
Absolutely. Bonjour, hello. Thank you so much for having me along with my colleagues. I'm very excited to be here. So I'm Tiana Gamez with Atout France, France Tourism. I am the deputy director. I am in this position, I've been in this position for 8 months, and I've been with the company for 15 years. I've covered a lot of positions and subjects in our DMO. So yes, today I think it's a little bit topic, but I hope not. I'm really looking forward to, especially right now, to a more balanced tourism for the future. In France, we're very excited because we've reached 100 million of visitors in 2024. So that was a really, a few years back, a great goal for our destination, and we're happy we reached it. But I feel like looking at the world today and tomorrow, I think now we are looking at, reaching a balanced tourism where, a lot of our visitors have been multiple times to Paris. But we need, yesterday again, I was meeting with travel advisors or journalists who hadn't been yet to Nice, which is our second destination. So I think, we need to balance. I'm looking for, travel where everything is balanced between, the time people are visiting. I'd like for it to be all year long, or between all the regions and, the local businesses. There is I was there 2 weeks ago, and there was this little town near Lyon. Little, it's Beaujolais. I don't know if you like this wine. It's one of the top wines of France. And I thought to myself, oh, this is a wonderful time of the year. We're in March, but I'm only here with, this group. I wish that more people would go to this place rather than, Paris. I love Paris, I'm from there, but you know, that's the idea. And beyond France, even, you know, more balanced towards the world. I'm from Madagascar, and I want people as well to visit the rest of the world. I think we can, you know, we can dream about that, and I hope that we'll reach that goal one day.
I love it. I love it. Okay, Orla.
Hi, everybody. Thanks again for having me here, and thanks to Jared for a lovely welcome. So I spoke this morning, but for anyone who wasn't at that session, I'm Orla O'Keefe, and I work with Fólse Ireland. Hard one to say, but it actually means welcome, the word Fólse. So we're obviously known as the land of 100,000 welcomes, so we've put that in our brand name. And we're actually the tourism development agency, so slightly different from some people in this room where you're more marketing focused. We do have a marketing remit, but our primary focus is on developing the product on the ground, and so a grassroots approach, economic development of the industry as it's a key employer for Ireland. So in terms of my comment on the positive shift, it's definitely in the area of sustainable travel and climate change. So for us as a green tourism destination, you know, our brand is built on us being green, and we really have to put that front and center of our strategy. And so as an economic agency, we're actually launching a climate action program for our small operators. So we're helping them access kind of capital funding, conducting audits, and enabling them to identify where their carbon emission is highest and looking at putting in programs for them to reduce that. So we really hope that'll have an impact into the future, and we'll be able to start marketing our destination rather than the kind of greenwashing that is going on at the moment in terms of sustainable travel, but we'll actually have a really sustainable industry. In Europe, there are very strong sustainability climate action targets, so we have a 50% reduction in climate emissions that we have to hit by 2030. So we really have to take it very seriously in order to be compliant with that. So that's our
good.
focus.
I'm going to come back to that a little
Sure.
bit later. Yeah, that's great. Gavin.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you. I'm Gavin Landry, International Director for Visit Britain, and it's great to be here with you. Thank you to Ashley and Maddie for all the help, and Jared for a lovely dinner last night, and great to be with you all my colleagues, and all of you in the room. So yes, I guess the thing that I'm thinking about when it comes to the next 5 years is really the impact of certainly tech on our industry, DDAT, you know, digital data and technology, but also kind of capitalizing on a sea change that has gone on recently, in the sense that I think that more and more people are starting to prioritize travel as a priority in their lives, as opposed to, you know, maybe I need to get a new couch or, you know, things along those lines, get a new motorcycle. I might travel instead and have these experiences that can enrich me and can really make a difference in my life. I can learn and grow as a human, those types of things. I think there has been a sea change. I've been in this business. I graduated from Cornell in 1986. You guys will get the math pretty quick. But I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen, what I think I've seen is really that the demand side, you know, we've always on the supply side said seasonality dispersal is really important. You know, spread the economic wealth, you know, get outside the honeypots. We've been saying that for years. I mean, Costa Rica was one of the first to launch sustainable tourism efforts probably 20 years ago. It's always been on the supply side in our best interest to encourage folks, but it's now gone to the demand side.
Yep.
And now the demand side looking at their own economic, sort of their own carbon footprints, their own impacts that they're developing as they go along. And what we're seeing, and we talked about this last night, is that the say-do gap is starting to close. So everyone believes in having a better planet, not being responsible for any damage done to the planet, leaving it better than you found it. You can say that, but do you do anything about that? Do you act on that? Does it drive your destination decision? Does it drive which airline you're going to use, which cruise ship or cruise liner, et cetera? And so I think that's my hope, is that the combination of sort of advancement in technology with this new mindset and prioritization around travel as a force for good could be in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I definitely agree. And I don't know if it was Instagram that helped launch, you know, all the selfies and everyone's traveling, but to your point, I think experience is definitely valued much higher than, say, you know, purchasing goods and products. But with that, you know, we talked about over-tourism, and many destinations do experience that. Now, assuming that, you know, travel remains and we hit our visitor numbers this summer, you know, Britain, I'd like to talk a little bit about, you know, you and Visit Britain, because I know that, you know, in particular, you guys have taken a pretty bold stance on reducing visitor volume in favor of, higher value travelers. And how is that playing out? Like, do you have any data that shows that it's working, people are having a better experience, or I'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, sure. So let me talk a little bit about the strategy, and then as time allows, we can talk about some of those specifics that we're implementing. But I'll start by just saying that there are 2 prehistoric sites in England that you may know of. How many people can name one prehistoric site in the western part of England? Stonehenge. Yes. Does anyone know the second prehistoric site that is very much similar but not the same as Stonehenge? I would be very surprised if anyone does, because that site is called Avebury, and Avebury has been purposely not marketed, both domestically nor internationally, in order for it to be preserved as such by the society that is responsible for that. So marketing can be both a controlling measure and a promotional measure, and we've seen that over time when it comes to places that certainly are beyond capacity during certain points of the year. I don't think it's true that in most cases in the UK you're not going to find that places are beyond capacity at all times of year. It could be right. Just certainly summertime is a very popular time. And what we do, I think the biggest thing that we've looked at is how we can really take a regenerative visitor economy approach to all the things that we do. And where that leads you is really, it takes you from what is sustainability, was this concept of do the least harm. We all know that there are impacts of any industry, and certainly tourism has impacts, but overall tourism is a force for good, a force for peace, a cultural exchange, people to people, cultural bridges, etc. So what we're trying to do with regenerative tourism is really how do we do the most good with that? And I think the biggest shift from sustainability is the community aspect, where the communities are being asked to develop the plans and get involved with, with the destination planning and do the work with the local authorities. And in some cases even do the marketing behind that, whereas, we can set the frameworks and establish, certain standards for our stakeholders and for DMOs, but it has to really, some of this is very, very local. How do we get that church that's been, fallow for years to now become an active asset of the community? It's certainly someplace that visitors might want to see, but after visitors are gone, it's going to be left behind for all of us with the jobs, with the infrastructure, with the roads, and so on and so forth that need to be developed in order for any community to have, a prosperous future. So that's kind of where we start, and then as time allows, I certainly don't want to impact my colleagues in terms of their time, but I'm happy to talk about some of the things we're doing to implement.
No, that's great. Well, I know that, Tiana, going over to you a little bit, you also just, congrats, by the way, on having the Summer Olympics. That was amazing, right?
Yes,
seriously?
I hope you enjoyed it. This was incredible, even to myself.
And when you talk about over-tourism, how were you managing that sort of spike of visitors that came in, that drop? I know that France has put things in like, reservation systems and caps and things like that. And oftentimes that's met with some resistance, right? And so how are you working with stakeholders to kind of mitigate that resistance? And did it work during the Olympics?